everyone, my name is Amber.
I'm Charisse.
I'm back with another reaction video. Today we're doing KARKAOS Kolossòs.
Yep, and this is a new band for us, so I'm curious to hear it.
Yep. This is featuring Morgan Lander of Kitty.
That's cool.
Yep. So I'm interested. We gave Charlotte another really brief listen before filming this, just to refresh our memories.
Yeah, because it's been a while since we listened to Kitty.
Yep. So let's see how Morgan's kept up with her voice.
Yeah, let's see.
Interesting. All right.
Yeah, I like Morgan's voice in this. I like that she's doing more in her lower range in this one.
Yeah, I really enjoy her cleans. She's got a beautiful clean, like very contemporary sound, but I still really love it.
Yeah, I was going to say, like, since she's in her doing more in her lower range, like her timber's a little bit darker than in Kitty when she was doing a little bit in her higher range. Um, she was like it was more of a prettier, brighter sound than this one. It's a little bit darker sound, so that's interesting and cool to see. Like she's got a lot of colors in her voice.
Is that normal for a singer's timbre to change like that?
Well, it's not like a drastic change because obviously she's lower. But like a lot of singers, when they have a lot of colors in their voice, it's just different colors, like different sound. Like it just sounds come out when they're higher. The timbre sometimes can change a little bit, and not like mezzos usually keep their dark timbre, but in a lot of cases with like sopranos, like obviously Morgan is more soprano, because as in Kitty, she was doing a lot more in the higher range, and she had like a really like brighter timbre, but she also wasn't going full voice in Kitty either. She kind of just was, she wasn't using her full voice. It was just more of her just basic chest.
Yeah, you can tell she's
From
definitely probably worked on her voice over the years.
Yeah, definitely. And as a singer, you want that. You want to, you know, find like where you're most comfortable, find out as a singer what you want to see, like you want to experiment with ranges and things like that, like how low you can go. And obviously it's best to do that with a voice teacher so you don't ruin your voice, but
Yeah. She's added different extremes to her repertoire since Kitty.
yeah, definitely. I don't mind her extremes as much. I was gonna say I'm not as the guys' extremes were a little too much for me.
Mm-hmm. I would agree. Like hers get pretty low too, where I'm not a big fan of. But like, if it was just her doing extremes, that would be okay. But adding him in there too, just a bit too much.
Yeah, like it would have been better like if he had some areas where he was doing clean while she was doing extreme, because that would be like a good contrast. Or like because he was just staying in that really like really intense extremes throughout his whole section, and I'm not as a big fan of that.
Yeah, makes me. Where I'm sure he can. He's probably got a clean voice in there because as we've seen, most singers that do extremes have a great clean voice to go with it.
I mean, a lot of times, but there are cases where they don't have the best singing voice, and that's why they stick with extremes. Um, or he could just, that's just his thing. He more comfortable doing extremes. We don't know, but it would be interesting if there is a song where he does do cleans. Because yeah, in most cases they usually do have pretty nice clean voices, but we don't. I don't know anything about him, so I'm not gonna say anything. But yeah, it would be cool if there is one like if he does do Clinton anything. But of course, anybody who's familiar with KARKAOS can tell us.
Yeah, I like this softer section here. That's a definitely different for an extreme-ish band like this with this much extreme vocals, I should say.
Yeah, I like that too because it was like a slower, calm, like with the slower, calm music, and that guitar section was really slow, but it like and pretty. But then it's like vocally, they were both like really extreme.
Yeah. Well, let's finish this off.
Yep, let's see the rest.
All right.
Yeah, this was pretty good. Yeah, this would be really good if the guy didn't growl so much.
Yeah,
uh,
we've definitely like changed our opinions on extremes. Like when we first started the channel, we're like none, like very, very little at all. Now we're like, okay, a balance, and now we're starting to tip towards okay, could have a little bit more than a balance, but
yeah, I think it also depends on the type of extreme vocals they're doing. Like, because like if it's like a lower, more gravelly growl, I'm usually okay with that. But it's like the kind that like really intense that hurts your ears. That I'm still not as into.
yeah, I think the guy was kind of bordering on that.
Yeah, like he had some areas where I was like a little bit too much for me. Um, but like as I was like I say in a lot of these, like I get like some of the extreme is needed for like emotional intensity purposes. Like if he's like angry in that section, frustrated in this section, I can get that. Like obviously to change the emotion in there, the growls are, sometimes needed
Mhm.
to really show, to really express like your emotion in that section. So like I get it. And it's also a good contrast when you have a clean vocalist also, like, because then you have the clean singer and then the extreme, the guy or whoever's doing extreme. So that's a good contrast too. But I just felt like this one had a little bit too much extreme, like just a little bit too intense. Maybe if he was like more lower gravelly, I could do it okay. It would be it would have been okay for me. And this is just my taste. I'm just not as I know people don't care. Some people really like it.
Yeah, I completely agree with everything you said. With all that said, I am definitely very interested to hear more out of them. Especially if Morgan's going to be a part of it with her main vocals. Um, because yeah, I love her voice. If it's just all the guy, I'm not going to be interested.
Yeah, like obviously, if it's more Morgan, I can do it. Or yeah, the bit like this was a pretty good balance. Like in the second half, he wasn't really there as much. um, so like there was like a good balance in there. It was just the intensity of his growls that I wasn't as into. Um, but yeah, like I would definitely hear something else from Car Chaos. I liked it though, because I like that like mixture of the music being like really like slower and calmer, but then it did have some faster, aggressive areas, especially towards the end there.
Definitely. The guitar had what you call it, like,
Mm.
a lighter tone in this solo. Like most of it
Yeah,
felt like very heavy and like what you'd expect out of a good metal song. But then it also had that like lighter feel like in the solo and then after. That was a nice switch up. Like it felt like it still fit too. Like it didn't feel out of place.
yeah, it was unique sound. With the guitar being like a lighter sound, but it was cool. But overall, I think I'll give this an 8.4 because I really like the music. I really like Morgan's voice, and her growls weren't too bad for me because she stayed. Her growls, they got, she was at the point where they got a little intense, but not to the point where it was hurting my ears. So an 8.4 is a good score for me.
I'm gonna give it 8.5. I really liked Morgan's voice. If she did a little less extremes, it'd be even better. But overall, this was still really good, and definitely want to hear more from KARKAOS.
Definitely want to hear more.
So, please check out links in the description for the video and all of our social media.
And we just want to let you know that both our Patreon and PayPal are now open. So please just send us your requests, and the links will be down in the description.
Until next time, bye!
Bye.